This is Nicole Roesch, and today I will cover the top 3 fad diets, an overview of their safety and their efficacy. To pick these top 3 fad diets, I polled my current clients. I am a personal trainer and a nutrition coach, but I only make general nutrition recommendations based on fitness. And I asked my clients what were the top 3 that they wanted to know more about or that intrigued them. And I would research it and give them the information. So here we go. The 3 that they asked about were the keto diet, intermittent fasting, and the pink drink. I was familiar with the first 2, not necessarily the last one, so I found this one a great one to research for my own information. The ketogenic diet we all know as the low-carb, high-fat, maybe adequate protein diet. Originally, and it is considered a fad diet, but it's anything but a fad because originally the keto diet was coined from research on diet and diabetes in the 1920s when Dr. Russell Morse Wilder determined that a high level of ketone bodies in the blood through that excess of fat and lack of carbohydrate would provide benefits of a dietary therapy in epilepsy patients, specifically in children. And through their studies, they determined that children realized improved seizure control, increased alertness, and improved behavior when controlled with a ketogenic diet. So there was some merit behind the diet, and it came into mainstream in 1994 when a movie producer tried it with his son and hence probably made a documentary out of it. So what is the ketogenic diet? It utilizes an alternate source of fuel similar to fasting. It does not provide principles of what we learn in terms of balance, energy control, moderation, and variety. Since it is high in fat, it may be high in saturated fat. So, are there people who could benefit from a keto diet? Quite possibly. Studies are showing people with neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's may lessen their symptoms of these diseases. Also, some research is being conducted with short-term management of hunger in obese men and possibly glycemic control in type 2 diabetes. So is it safe as a fad diet for the general healthy population? Well, it's very difficult to follow from my personal experience with clients. They tend to fall off of it very quickly because they may have a taste for carbohydrates like most people do. And it's very restrictive. Oh, I can't eat this at a party because it doesn't fall within these parameters. The ketones produced may adversely affect the pH balance of the blood. So any long-term use of a keto diet could result in kidney disease or other health factors. So taking out a whole food group of dairy, fruits, grains, beans, starchy vegetables doesn't necessarily provide the greatest, behavior for longevity. And one quote that I saw said, just because we can use an alternate energy source doesn't mean that we should. The second diet that I'm covering is intermittent fasting. So the eating parameters with intermittent fasting, or IF, I'll just say, is eating within a window of a period of time after a prolonged fast. It's really seen as a method to reduce caloric intake. So if you are somebody who doesn't eat breakfast in the morning, maybe you're not hungry, maybe you're busy rushing off somewhere, and then you may not eat until, say, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It really creates this window of eating opportunity to get a specified caloric intake in a period of time, so a shorter period of time. Again, energy that is taken from protein is utilizing fat stores for a major fuel source. Again, very similar to ketogenic diet in terms of how your body produces energy, in terms of elevated ketones. So who may benefit from IF? Well, fasting dates back centuries for religious purposes, so it's nothing new. And studies show on fasting that infrequent periods may be beneficial to some, increase cognitive abilities. People with IBS or irritable bowel syndrome have experienced kind of a calming of the gut when they don't, when they do IF, and maybe they're giving their gut a rest for a period of time. But the studies are very new and don't really show huge benefits. So the limitations in the safety, well, there's no nutrient guidelines. It's just a time frame for eating. What I did find interesting, if you study IF in women, women experience results very differently than men. Women are very sensitive to energy intake or lack thereof. So on the female population, you could see, hormonal factors contributing after a period of time of intermittent fasting. So women who are trying to get pregnant or maybe are pregnant probably should not fast for any periods of time. They should make their caloric, spread it out over, the day to have that constant energy. And also there's a study that I put in the sources, individuals with an increased risk of disordered eating, IF could be a trigger. And I do know this firsthand from experience that going to an intermittent fasting as a way to control calories just made this person incredibly hungry later in the day and wasn't making great decisions in terms of food choices. So it can be a trigger for some and wouldn't be recommended with somebody that has a history of disordered eating. And finally, the last one is the pink drink, is I guess what it's called on social media platforms. So Plexus Slim is the product, and their claim is that it's a microbiome activating formula. It improves your gut health while you lose weight and feeds your gut prebiotics to support a healthy glucose metabolism. I found interesting the wording that they use, and it is right, you can see on the picture, it is right on the front of their product. I think that they use, words like this to make it sound like it's clinically proven, but it's anything but. I researched the ingredients in it, so you'll find these ingredients, and I did go in depth and study them a little bit further. Chromium, xyloligosaccharide, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, that is a prebiotic, so they are correct in saying that it has prebiotics in it. Coffee bean extract, which is similar to caffeine in how in its effect on the body. Carcinia cambogia fruit extract, similar to citric acid. And then alpha lipoic acid, which is an antioxidant. So you could look at this list and say, well, it's a very good list of things, but essentially they've just pulled out some ingredients that have shown in very preliminary studies to maybe in the small intestine reduce the uptake of nutrients, or so they pick at these ingredients and then they put it into a drink like this, and with the promise to help you lose weight. So my take on it is, unless you are deficient in nutrients, the supplement probably has little to do with success in losing weight, because there is no caloric recommendation or nutrient recommendation involved at all. So a lot of these ingredients are found in plants, more specifically grains. So if you are eating a wholesome diet with adequate nutrients, you wouldn't need an $80 supplement to help you to get there. So, and again, supplements are unregulated, so they can say exactly what they want and make claims that promises weight loss. And here are my sources. So if you'd like to read further on any of these, here they are. Thanks for your time.